Hey, everybody, welcome to this week's podcast. This week is going to be, I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it yet. This week, we got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about the NRA convention down in Atlanta, Georgia. We are going to talk about the industry a little bit. We're going to talk about Donald Trump. He made an appearance down at the NRA. And we are going to have special guest David Cooley. Now, y'all know David Cooley, I hope. So David Cooley is an internet Facebook sensation, I guess you could call it. What's cool about David is I knew catfish before the world knew catfish. We wrestled alligators together, and we've been in gator competitions together. We've had just a lot of fun. We've partied together. He's just a cool dude. And the cool thing about it is he's a patriot. He's an American. He loves this country. He loves people. This guy is the real deal. And he was exactly like he is now back then. It was a pretty cool deal. I talked to David a little bit earlier. He's going to be on here in a little bit. I just tried to call him, and he better answer his damn phone. I'm going to text him right now. We are going to have some pretty cool stuff coming at you here in the next few weeks with the podcast. We've got a lot of new partners for the show. The show is doing just as good as it ever has, and we're rolling. I mean, we're going to be doing a lot off of mountain bikes. We're going to be hunting a lot out west. Getting ready to start hunting bears. We're just going to have an epic time. Seeing my cousin Bobby comments, "Where's your DS cup? Too small, isn't it?" Yeah, I guess, it is what it is. I mean, hell, I don't know really. Best part of waking up is Dog Soldier on your cup, but I was in a hurry. You guys were on chat room screaming at me, what's going on? What's going on? The suspense is killing me. And then I got smart ass Bobby Joe Parks. You guys see her on the chat room. You guys give her all the hell you want. She's family. And she's giving me a hard time. And I don't understand really what the problem is, but so David, it's Whiskey Wednesday, by the way, for Catfish Cooley. And the problem with Whiskey Wednesday is I hope he didn't pass out, because I am really going to be... I'm going to laugh my ass off. But we got to have Catfish Cooley on here in a little bit. Let's talk about the NRA convention. The NRA convention just ended. It was last weekend in Atlanta, Georgia. I heard through the grapevine. I didn't make it this year. I went to Missouri and seen some family and hung out with my girls for their birthday. And I heard the attendance was down, probably more so than it ever has. But I think that was just the location. I really do. The industry right now is probably the strongest that it's been in a long time. There's some words that firearm sales are down due to, and we can all admit it. I mean, I'll admit it. I thought Hillary was going to win. And, AR sales are way down. The problem we have here is every time the politicians get in the way of the outdoors industry or the shooting industry or certain things, my phone's going off the anyway, the problem when politics and the outdoor industry mix, people get scared. We all get scared that we're going to get our guns taken away. We all get scared. The only thing really that's really going to happen, I mean, this is the plain and simple truth, okay? The only thing that's really going to happen is we're going to drive ammo sales through the freaking roof as far as pricing. And we're all going to drive certain platforms through the roof because we're scared. One thing we need to do as Americans now, especially since we got this president in, Bobby, stay focused. I can't stay focused. You assholes are texting me every 5 seconds. But anyway, so here's the deal. We got a new president now. I mean, this guy shows up at the NRA convention in Atlanta, Georgia, to hang out with hunters. 2 years ago at SHOT Show in Vegas, I had the honor of listening to Donald Trump speak, and it was awesome. I knew he was the guy for the job. Do I agree 100% with what he's done? No. But you know what? Who am I? But I will tell you one thing. I'm an American. I'm a patriot. I believe in our Constitution. I believe in our great flag. I believe in our great country. And I support the man that I voted for. You know, he has a chance now to turn things around, and he's turning things around. It's really looking good. And he went to Georgia to hang out at the NRA convention. Find anybody else that's done that. The last 8 years has been pure BS because the ammo, I mean, you can't even buy 22 long rifle ammo. When I was a kid, we used to buy that crap for freaking $9. I mean, what's really up with that? I really don't get. I don't know. I just think we all need to grow a set of balls, and we need to buck up, and we need to realize that the last 8 years we've been scared to death. All of us have. And it's probably the worst as it's going to get. The only thing we got to worry about now is some other issues, but we're all good. So, you know, it's rock on. Let's see. Winchester. You know, we talked about the platform rifle last week. Winchester has done really good. They've got a really strong new, I call them platform rifles. They're a chassis rifle. So we're moving forward in the shooting industry. We're coming out with new products, and that's probably the problem because we all got scared. We all thought Hillary was going to get in. We all stockpile up on firearms getting ready for the big rise of sales, and then Trump gets in. So now everybody's just chilling out waiting for the new stuff. So inventory's stocked everywhere. And, you know, it is what it is. It's a tough business. I seen Walter commented, we didn't have a podcast last week. We had a lot of storms out west, had a lot of snow. I was actually going to pre-record a podcast, and we just didn't get it done. Internet was down, electricity was on and off. It was just kind of a bunch of bull crap. And but we're back in the business now. Obviously, this podcast is brought to you by TacticalPredatorHunter.com, your dog soldier approved gear. And we are going to be on YouTube, of course, and I'm in the middle of a big RSS change right now. We're still on iTunes, and we're going to be on iTunes, but we're going to change it where there's only podcast on iTunes. It drives me crazy when I go to listen to my podcast because I don't really get to listen to them unless I watch them back or listen to them back. And it drives me crazy that iTunes, it's so hard to listen to a podcast when it's fed off of a YouTube channel because there's episodes everywhere and it's just hard to sift through. And if it's audio only, you can listen to your background without jumping through a bunch of hoops, and that's, you know, that's pretty much what it is. I am going to try to give Catfish a call here. He better answer his phone. Let's see here. Right, we got a ring. Catfish, where are you? Now I'm worried a little bit. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to move right along. I text Catfish, he'll call me. Jesus, he should call me. But anyway, we're going to talk about coyote hunting tonight. We're going to talk about a lot of things. One thing I want to bring to you guys' attention is the Facebook platform, the Instagram platform, and the Twitter platform is really leaning right now toward the wrong side. YouTube implemented a new feed or filter, I guess is what you would call it. And they have labeled, now soak this up because there's a lot of people watching, and he probably is, yeah, it is Whiskey Wednesday. So there's a lot of people watching that has pages that's focusing real hard right now. And this is why I'm on television and I'm not just online. YouTube implemented a new filter last week, and if you don't know how to use the filter, and if your subscribers don't know how to use the filter, you're screwed, because YouTube has labeled every gun channel and every hunting channel as controversial. The only episodes with this filter applied, the only thing you can see on the Dog Soldier YouTube channel is a few podcasts. That's it. You can't absolutely see anything. And I'm not sure really. I thought we was pretty safe, because we do generate a lot of content for the YouTube, and they make it's the second largest search engine online opposed to Google. So as far as the outdoor industry, I'm a marketing platform, and I'm a marketing platform. So what I do is I sell marketing materials to sponsors. I'm not a whore, I'm not a hooker, I'm not a sellout, but one thing I do is I give them a place that we can share their products and the information you needed to make a good decision at the shelf. And one thing we have that is not really going for us right now is Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram make it so easy to generate content. There's so many people out there generating content right now, and the word is getting out about so many products, and that's good. I'm all about growing the industry and teaching people and everything else, but what's happening is Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube is really starting to lean the wrong side, and when that all happens, there's going to be a backlash, and all the hard work that we've all put into social media and digital media has gone out the window. I work my ass off for the YouTube channel, and it's just, it's just a pain in the ass. I'm gonna try to call Cooley one more time here, and if Cooley don't answer this time, I'm gonna text him one more time and tell him to give me a holler. And if he don't answer, we're gonna move on, and we're gonna talk about some coyote hunting. It's a rough time of year right now, and come on, Cooley. Wake up. I don't have a freaking clue what is going on here. I'm gonna ring him again. Hell, like I said, it's Whiskey Wednesday. I'm gonna be disappointed because I like talking to the guy and I like visiting with him, and I hope he's. Yeah, YouTube probably did filter the call, to be honest about it. Okay, I'm gonna text him, and I'm gonna try. He's always on Facebook. This guy has 1 million. We were gonna celebrate his 1 millionth follower, and he's good stuff, and he gets it was like he hit 1 million followers a day or so ago, and now he's well over 1 million. All right, I text him again, but we're going to move on. We got us a chat room livened up here. We got a lot of people talking about selling horses on Facebook and yada, yada, yada. I want to talk about coyote hunting, and I know there's probably a lot of people watching right now waiting on Cooley, and I don't know what to tell you. I'm stuck in the mud with this one. I just talked to him 30 minutes ago, and we talked about what we were going to visit about, and he said he had his phone plugged in, and So, it is what it is. So, I see in the camera I trimmed my beard again today, and I got this spot I can't grow no hair. But anyway, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about coyote hunting. Everybody, right now, pretty much what's going on is the coyotes are denning. It's really a tough time. It's a pain in the ass to hunt coyotes right now. I mean, it absolutely freaking sucks. But the decoy doggers are on hot pursuit. The government trappers that use dogs are on hot pursuit. I mean, it's a really good time of year to kill coyotes, but it absolutely sucks unless you get it down pat. So what I'm going to do, last week Walter Seabow, and speaking of Walter stayed on the line with me for about 30 minutes, and we talked about the denning season. We talked about how big of a pain in the butt it was to kill coyotes. And I made a statement. I was listening to the podcast, and we were talking about coyotes cleaning out dens, and I made a comment that said, I wish somebody would call in that knew what they were talking about. And I'll be honest with you, it made me feel, and it made me look like an arrogant prick, to be honest about it. I felt like, man, I just called Walter a dumbass because he's on the phone with me, and I said I wish somebody would call in that knew what they were talking about. So, in defense of myself, and not really saying what I want to say sometimes, or saying it how I want to say things sometimes, Walter, I am sorry. I didn't really mean to call you a dumbass. I know I did, but it wasn't pointed that. I just meant I wish somebody would call in, like a biologist or some shit, and tell me how many dens. I think they clean out 8 or 9, but typically, but I would like to know on average how many dens a female cleans out. And me and Walter didn't know because we was talking about it, but I look like an idiot. And it is what it is. Oh yeah, you're right, Walter. So Walter just comments, "What? You never apologize for anything." You know what? I don't apologize for nothing. When I say at the end of the show, keep your head up, move forward, stay fearless, and never apologize to anyone. What I mean is never apologize for your heritage, never apologize for what you believe in. Right now, if I'm a dumbass or if I'm an idiot, I'm going to apologize for it because that's just how I am. But most of the time I'm right, plain and simple. And I'm not going to deny that. But like right now, there is somebody in the chat room that is so vocal and so strong about her beliefs that she gets carried away. She starts fights on my fan page. She starts fights on my regular page. Okay, so we got us a live one here, and in Hampton, Scott Hampton. We've had him on the podcast before. I am going to call Hampton here in just a second. Actually, I'm going to call Hampton right now. Hampton, text me if you can talk. I'm going to keep talking, but text me if you can talk. Hampton is a badass decoy dogger, and I'm going to have Jeff Ryder on here hopefully in a couple weeks as well. We're going to talk about this decoy dogging because I really don't know what I'm talking about, but he just texted me 3 or 4. So, I got some information that they cleaned out 8 or 9 dens, and he says 3 or 4. But I know they clean out several because if they have any pressure whatsoever, they're going to move their pups. But anyway, so let's talk about this girl on the chat room. So there's a girl in the chat room right now that is so strong about her beliefs. She is a pain in the ass sometimes, but I love her for it. It's my cousin Bobby Joe. She's texting me, telling me to stay focused and telling me to do this and that. And I am focused. This is me. I'm all over the place. So, I see several people talking about decoy dogging in the chat room. And I know a lot of people want to get into decoy dogging. And we're going to talk about that. I am going to call. Here, I'm just going to call Scott Hampton right now. Actually, I'm gonna try to call Cooley one more time because I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt because maybe his phone ain't working. I don't know, but nothing ever happens, right? This will give all them people that hate me on Facebook something to talk about. Steve Kreiner said he's gonna have Catfish Cooley on, and he didn't make it. So this will be interesting. I'm sure a lot of people will go live about it and do whatever. So. Okay, I give up. David, I love you. We'll have you on another time. So if everybody's watching and wanting to talk to Catfish Cooley, the guy's a super stand-up guy. I knew him. We used to wrestle gators together at Gator Country, and I met him down there. He's a super stand-up guy, and he's an American, and he's just a great guy. And we'll have him on. I'm sorry we didn't have him on. But anyway, I'm going to call Scott Hampton here. He's a big decoy dogger. Maybe he can...
Hello?
Scott Hampton.
What?
This is Steve Kreiner here. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good.
I wanted to call you and wish you a happy birthday from Podcast Land.
Thanks.
So we're going to turn this kiboshed podcast into a great podcast because I've been talking about Trump. I've been talking about politics. You've been watching, and I've been trying to get Cooley on the phone, and it's Whiskey Wednesday, and I should have freaking known better not to do it on Wednesday. But anyway, we're going to talk about decoy dogging this week, and I don't know what in the hell I'm talking about, and I've never acted like I did. And I'm going to try to get Ryder on here in a couple weeks too, but you guys are some of the most popular decoy doggers in the country right now. So I want to talk to you about decoy dogging. You got time?
Sure.
Perfect. So just give us a little background, Hampton. I know your background, but we got to act professional and act like we know what we're talking about, or, when it comes to this radio show looking podcast, whatever we want to call it. Did I ever tell you why I started Podcast Hampton?
No.
Do you have you been on Facebook one day in the last 24 days that there hasn't been a live feed of some sort?
No. Everybody's doing it.
So back in the day, about 2 years ago to be exact, because I was living in Missouri still, I used to Ustream coyote hunts, and I did some live coyote hunts on Facebook, and yada yada yada. And now the reason I do these podcasts is because, first of all, I like some kind of structure. I'm a planner, and I'm a strategist, and you know that about me. I'm kind of weird that way. I like to plan things out, but I just think.
And you're an entertainer like Blake Shelton.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That is awesome. Yeah. You know what? I don't even know what to say about that. That's probably one of the stupidest things I ever said. I've said a lot of stupid shit in my career. You know that?
Yep.
Thanks for being honest. So, what we're doing here with the podcast is we like to plan things out. We like to schedule, things, and I guess I'm just trying to separate myself from the others. And it's not that anybody's doing anything wrong, but I can't stand to be the same way, as everybody else, and that's why I want to talk to you right now. Because you're the same guy besides you being a little shorter than me and you're out of the same mold.
Yeah.
I remember when you come on the coyote hunting scene and you were blasting coyotes, but you wanted to change things up a little bit. You wanted to kill more coyotes, but you wanted to have more fun and you wanted to get more dynamic. So you started learning. David just texted me. I was reading his text. So it's storming like hell in wherever, Texas. It's storming like hell. I'm going to read this text, Hampton. Hold on. He says, Sorry, man, I missed a call. It's hailing down, and we had to drive all our cars to my place to get out of the hail. I'm so sorry the storm fell from the bottom so fast. I'm just going to text him, no thing, bro, next week. So hopefully we'll have David on next week. And, but anyway, back to coyote hunting. So you wanted to separate yourself. You wanted to be more dynamic, and you wanted to, one thing about Hampton, one thing about you that I really like is you're a perfectionist, and I'm not kissing your ass. Really, I'm not. So tell us from the start. I don't want to know all the secrets. I don't want to know anything else, but tell us what drove you to really start the decoy dog deal.
Man, I started hunting coyotes in 2011, and I was watching a show on TV, and they were using dogs. And the show, they used them a little bit different. The country was different. The dogs were farther out, and they weren't bringing the coyotes right in their lap, but they were, they're bringing them 150, 100 yards. And so I got interested in it and kind of started pursuing it. And the first year there was kind of rough. I kind of, I could have definitely pursued a different path on learning how to do it. And as far as dogs go, getting dogs and all that. But after about the second year, I kind of started picking up on it a little bit and figuring out, what kind of dog you need and what kind of dog you don't need. And it became addictive. And everybody thinks that if you've got a decoy dog, you're going to kill more coyotes. Well, newsflash, that is not how it works. You might have somebody out there trying to sell dogs that'll give you that line of crap, but that's not how it works. If I was going for numbers, I wouldn't take a dog. I could kill more coyotes without a dog. And I just enjoy watching the dogs work. And, it's frustrating. And, you've got to put these dogs out there and put coyotes on top of them day in and day out to make a dog really good. And a lot of dogs just don't have it. And a lot of dogs are gifted, and, they're a winner the first couple of days. But all the videos, people, they see the milk and honey. They don't see the blank stands. They don't see the stands where the dog doesn't do anything what it's supposed to. They don't see all the bull crap. They see the 10% that is all sweet and dandy, but there's a whole lot more to it than what you see on the videos.
A while ago when I said you want to get more dynamic, you want to study more, you want to do things more. I've not been around you in the roping pen, and I've not been around you fighting, but I've seen you rope, and I seen what you do when you're into something again, or you get into something. But when I say you wanted to kill more coyotes, like, you kill a lot of damn coyotes, and from the outside looking in, there for a while, these dogs gave you so much drive. I mean, you were absolutely, like, you're putting in time with these dogs. I mean, people, I don't think, realize that's let's talk about training these dogs. I don't need no secrets or anything like that, because I know we can't do that over the radio, but let's talk, like, people need to realize what they're getting into.
Well, I mean, the bad thing about it is you might get a trapped coyote and put it in a cage and let a young dog bark at it and bay it and stuff like that. And then everybody wants to put a coyote tail on a rope and drag it around, let the dog tug on it. That's all fine and dandy. It doesn't hurt anything, but it definitely doesn't do much to help. All this is done, under fire. I mean, it happens live. And what sucks is, I go through a lot of dogs. Hell, I got rid of a dog this week. Finally found a guy that wanted this dog, gave her away. But everybody gets these dogs and they become pets, and then they find out they don't have it, so they've just got a turd out in the backyard that they're feeding. And it's hard. You get a pup, and, I don't like to put a dog out there until it's 8 or 9 months old. And, you raise this dog and you've got damn near a year invested in it and not really knowing if it's going to do it or not. But, my dogs, I'm around them every day. I mess with them. I play with them. They're, a lot of days I'll just load them in the box and take them somewhere and dump them out. Let them run, do nothing. And I've got some smaller dogs that I use that, everybody said that you can't decoy with the Patterdale because they're wild, they're insane, they're uncontrollable. Well, I've got two that work really nice. One that actually is the best dog I've ever owned. If she weighed 40 pounds, she'd be unbelievable.
Yeah.
But there's just so much that goes into it that you don't see. And I can't take a dog and, like if you're training a retriever, I can't put duck scent on a deal and throw it out there and let the dog go find it and bring it back. It all happens on stand. When coyotes come in, that's when it happens. And it's not hard, but it's not easy. You've got to have the right dog. And I'm going to say for every dog that I have that's successful, there's 12 that aren't. And my problem is I get a dog going good, really nice dog, and I'll sell the damn thing and start fresh with a pup. I don't want to say it's a problem, but it's always, I've got to get out and put coyotes in front of this dog. I get off work. Hell, I'll drive 75 miles one way to make one stand somewhere where I know my ground and I know that there's a 80+% chance of calling something in. But a lot of miles, a lot of out-of-town motel rooms, a lot of meals, a lot of vet bills, people think, man, those dogs cost that much. I'm like, I ain't making nothing.
Yeah.
But I don't get a dog to sell. I've got to the point now, if I sell a dog, I sell it to somebody that I know and that I know will hunt it, because I sold a few and the guys took them and didn't do anything with them and they've just wasted away. And I hate that. But there's, it's a challenge, but it's rewarding.
Oh, I tell you right now, the only little bit of decoy dogging I ever really did, and I didn't get much, we didn't do much. Rich Higgins had a couple dogs that did, and I've seen coyotes work a dog, like that video I posted on YouTube last week, and excuse me, and I mouthed in the video, I said, yeah, we're doing a little decoy dog, and I hope everybody knew I was joking. I'm pretty sure you did, because, I'm not going to act like I know what I'm talking about when it comes to decoy dogs, because I have no freaking, I do know from watching. And one thing, and let's talk about Ryder a little bit as well. You've hunted a lot with Ryder, and you've spent a lot of miles and spent a lot of time with Ryder, and his YouTube channel, it's Decoy Doggin, or it's Doggin Coyotes, ain't it, Hampton?
Decoy Doggers, I think.
Decoy Doggers, yeah. So Decoy Doggers, I'm subscribed to it, and everybody listening should subscribe to Decoy Doggers. It's a great YouTube channel. It's been watched hundreds and hundreds and actually millions of times, and it's got great footage, and I like what you guys are laying down as far as footage. And matter of fact, you had so much drive with these dogs, and then you stepped it up a notch, and you guys start getting camera equipment, and now you're filming your dogs, and if people are really getting coyotes in front of them a lot, then they understand what filming coyotes is like. And actually you go with me. I hire you because you're a damn good cameraman as well. And so the footage you guys are putting out is remarkable. And what I'm getting at is I don't really know a lot about decoy dogs, but I get to run around with people like you. I get to visit with people like Jeff. I get to watch his videos. I get to visit with people like Cal and some other guys. There's some guys, without mentioning any names, because I seem to piss off everybody that listens to this thing for some reason. Without mentioning any names, you agree with me, there's some video of decoy dogs out that really is, it's not, I'll just say it, it's not right. Do you agree with that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I do and I don't. I'm not going to say that it's not right. It's like saying that you don't have a good dog. If your dog's doing what you like and you're satisfied with it, you've got a great dog. They might do it differently than me. It's not my style. I want a dog to bring coyotes. I want them to run over the top of me. Some guys are satisfied with 75, 100 yards out there. Jeff and I, and, you know, I won't mention any other names because of, you know, conflicts of interest or whatever, but Jeff and I and a few other guys I know, we want those damn coyotes in our lap. Yeah. And, you know, we don't start shooting just as soon as we can. We let it happen. And another thing with Jeff's channel, Jeff films and shoots and calls. Jeff is by himself in 95% of those videos. And you'd never know.
Ain't that nuts?
So, you know, that probably needs to be mentioned, that all Jeff's stuff, as good a quality as it is, if he was just running the camera, it would be, you couldn't beat it. And it's already excellent. But, you know, Jeff does all that. He does it all. He's by himself in those videos. And so that, I think a lot of people don't realize that, but that's quite an accomplishment. I mean, just to film somebody else is hard enough, but he's shooting, running the call. You know, the dogs have collars on them. Sometimes you've got to tone them back. He's doing it all, and it comes out looking, you know, it's virtually TV quality footage.
Yeah. You know, I've watched a lot of Jeff's stuff, and I've watched a lot of your stuff, and I tell you right, I tell you right now, I really dig it. And the thing about Jeff is I'm getting texts like crazy. You know, we mentioned the live feeds. You know what? And we're having a really good conversation, but I won't. So it don't matter what a guy does. I mean, I don't really understand what's going on, but I mean, there's people live right now, and it don't matter what, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I think I'm just gonna buy gas and drive to everybody's house to talk to them, Hampton. Because every time I try to do something happens. It's nuts. But anyway, so there's several people live right now on Facebook. If you guys are bored with us talking about decoy dogging, and you know, I'm sure it's good stuff. But so anyway, you got Ryder and you got you laying down footage, and Ryder is doing, you know, we call it one-handed stuff. I do a couple a year because it's really freaking tough, and I just be honest with you, I can't pull it off. Coyotes are so sporadic and everything else, and I try to lay down good stuff. But Ryder, if you're into decoy dogging, Decoy Doggers is the channel of Jeff Ryder. And some of your footage is on there too as well, Hampton, or?
There might be some on there where I was whipping.
Okay.
But most of that is solo. I mean, it's all the way solo. And, but.
Now, for the guys interested in decoy dogging, let's talk about, you know, we got the dogs. I mean, you know, we're obviously looking at, you know, you use Patterdales, but I mean, a lot of cur dogs and stuff like that is about what people's using, right?
Yeah, Catahoula cur crosses, mountain cur, Jack Terrier crosses, a variety of crosses. I like the smaller end Catahoulas, but they're hard to find. You know, to find a 40-pound Catahoula is difficult. So a lot of times, like right now, I've got a pup that's 5 months old that is 3/4 mountain cur and 1/4 Catahoula. So, you know, and Jeff's got a dog he calls Freak that's got some herding dog in it. I don't know if it's border collie or what type of collie it is, but she's a little bit different than what you'll see typically, but she's top notch.
Yeah. You know, a lot of people think that you guys go out and you howl a couple times. I mean, you still got to make good solid stands, and you got to probably do a little bit more work decoy dogging than you actually do just going out and making stands. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people think, well, the dog's there, the coyotes are coming. That's not true. The wind deal is still, you know, that's the first and foremost thing. You got to play the wind right. Now, a lot of times when the coyotes lock in on the dogs, they'll get downwind and they won't leave.
Yeah.
But the initial part, you've got to get the coyotes called in. You've got to have coyotes for this to happen. They don't just show up because there's a dog out there, you know.
Yeah.
So
when you're are you making are you trying to target stands around dens, or are you going out and just making regular stands like you would where, I mean, you've obviously scouted and you're doing everything right, because I know you're a successful coyote hunter. I've hunted with you. I mean, we've made, well, I don't know how many coyotes we've killed, but we've really not, I guess, made a lot of stands together. Probably 30 or so, but we've probably killed 40 or so coyotes. um, so, I mean, are you making just regular stands like normal, or are you going out and locating these den sites, or I guess, will transients work your dogs like a denning pair will?
I don't think a transient's going to. Maybe 1 out of 10 might. I just, my partner and I, Brent, we've got a tremendous amount of ground. We've actually got more ground than we can cover, and we know it. I just know where coyotes are.
Yeah.
I can't take you, of all the hundreds of thousands of acres that I've got access to hunt, I cannot take you to a coyote den. I don't know where one is at. I got an idea where the area, we'd have to look and find it, but I can't walk you up to a coyote den. So, we try to get close to dens, and then there's times, we might be in an area where we just think we're close and we're not. But it's the same setup. I mean, I set up in the same places pretty much regardless of what month it is. If we're hunting a property, we switch it up some, but we're in the same spots regardless of what year or what month it is.
So you're just making, there's a question on Facebook what decoy dogging is. So you're making stands, and when the coyotes come in, then the dogs pretty well take over, and yeah, you're manipulating sound and using your call and stuff like that, but pretty much you're initiating a response, and then they see the dogs and the dogs see them, and then they pretty well take over.
Yeah, the dogs just will go to the coyotes, and a lot of times, I mean, I've had coyotes coming in and the dog running straight towards the coyote out in a cut hayfield for 50 yards before the coyote ever even sees it, because it's paying attention to the sound.
Yeah.
And the dogs just kind of push the coyotes out, sometimes 70 yards, sometimes 150 yards. Then the dogs wear a collar, and when it beeps, they turn around and come back. But I don't ever have to beep a dog. They get it figured out. But that dog will circle around. The coyote will gristle, he'll hackle up and start chasing the dog and might nip the dog, and they'll, go at it for a second or two, and the coyote will shoot off, and the dog will go after it, and then the dog will turn around and come back. And, hopefully in the end, you've got a coyote there, 25, 30 yards from you, and all that's going on, and there's the other ones have gotten curious and want to come out and see what's going on. So
you got to be pretty. I told you my story about my decoy dog, right? My Catahoula. Yeah. I'll tell that story right now for the people at home listening. So I get this Catahoula one time. This was, I think I was with HS, but I hadn't signed over my part of the construction company yet to my partner. And we was on this job site, and they had this Catahoula pup. And I brought this thing home, and it was going to be my decoy dog. And so this thing was scared of everything. It wanted to sit by me no matter what. But it was a dumb dog also. I mean, it climbed the ladder up to the roof I was roofing and then jump off. I mean, he was pretty well an idiot. But so this coyote comes in, and I grab this dog, and I'm like, get him. And, of course, the dog, don't even move. As soon as he seen the coyote, he was like, he would not even move. So I picked this dog up by the tail and the scruff of the neck, and I threw it out in this hayfield, which was just about 3 yards in front of me, is all I threw him. When the dog hit, he just went like that and then set up. And you know how they grab their shoulders and their head, and they're just like a statue. They don't freaking move at all. You've seen a scared dog before. And this coyote come up and put his nose to that pup. And I just knew he was going to jump all in that pup. They touched noses, and that coyote ran off, and that damn dog still didn't move. Can you believe that?
Mm-hmm.
That's my decoy dogging right there. Right then I took the dog home, and he was my pet for a while. I can't remember what happened to him. I called him Thumper, I think. And that was all of my decoy dogging experience. And actually, nobody on TV no, well, I mean, Cal and them were doing it a little bit, but not on TV. But nobody up to that point was doing any really, like, this was 10 or 12 years ago, I guess. So nobody really, I just wanted to dog like Rich Higgins is, so I studied it a little bit, and nobody was really doing it in the volumes that they're doing now. And I thought I was going to monopolize on something. Then I realized what I got myself into real fast, you know.
Well, like I said, if a dog's doing what a guy likes what his dog's doing, then that dog is perfect. But a lot of people, like from what I want a dog to do, like me and Jeff and the 3 or 4 other guys that I know that use dogs successfully, what we expect out of a dog and what other people expect out of a dog are two totally different things.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys just have a companion on stand, but they don't know any better. They've never seen they've never seen it in your face, and coyotes barking at you and running around you in circles, and the dogs getting flipped and rolled and fur flying, and you're just sitting there and it's all taking it all in. So but again, I'm not coming down on anybody's dog. If a guy's happy with what his dog's doing, more power to him. So,
yeah,
but
I've seen, you've sent me, like, you've texted me videos of coyotes at your feet with their teeth out, and I mean, it's an experience, and you probably got to watch who you take, really, too. I mean, you can't get trigger happy fellers out there on this type of a hunt, I don't think.
And a lot of times, there'll be people that have called me about coyotes and they want to see the dogs and all that. And I mean, the bottom line is, if they've got land, yeah, I'll take them. But they set their gun 5 feet from them. It's just laying on the ground beside the sticks. And when it starts happening, I'll let them slide over there by their rifle. And I tell them, if you hear me say dog, I mean, the dog's coming, get off the trigger, and that's the thing. A coyote's a coyote and a dog's a dog.
Yeah.
And it is just, you do not shoot until you're told to shoot. It's not that me or anybody else that has a dog's being a jerk. I've had hundreds of stands with dogs working coyotes, and I'll be down on the rifle and I've raised my head up before and had another coyote and another dog headed right in the line of fire. So you have to communicate. You have to communicate.
I was gonna go with a fella a while back. It's getting season, and me and you've talked about going, and we're waiting on a few things to happen, and we're gonna make it happen. But I was talking to a fella the other day, and I told him, I was like, man, I'd really like to go hunting with you, and he had made a deal with a guy out of South Dakota, and they're gonna do videoing together, so he's exclusive with them now, I guess. But I really didn't want to go shoot or anything. I just wanted to go. I love coyotes, and I love experiencing it, and I mean, how jammed up I get when coyote hunting. There just ain't nothing better. And to people that like handling dogs like you and Jeff, I mean, this is over the edge good stuff. It's pretty cool stuff, I think, what you guys are doing with the dogs, especially.
Well, I haven't filmed anything in well over 2 years with a quality camera, but shoot, man, I when I was filming, I watched 150 coyotes die, and I only pulled the trigger on 2 of them. I love running the camera, and so yeah, you don't even have to have a gun to let it be one of the most exciting things you've ever experienced. It's awesome.
Yeah, it is. So let's what you do a lot of shotgunning when you get them coyotes close, or you just work them and then you wait till the end of the gig and then you shoot them when they're leaving, or?
There's a lot of shotgun opportunities, but a lot of times, the majority of the time when I hunt, it's between 90 and 105 degrees, literally.
Yeah.
And there's mosquitoes and ticks and wasps and everything else, grasshoppers. I just simply don't carry a shotgun a lot of times because it's so dang hot.
Yeah.
I might carry one the first stand or the second stand of the morning, and then by the third stand, it's back in the truck. And But yeah, there's all kinds of shotgun opportunities. I mean, you can hit them with a wrist rocket.
Yeah, we're gonna do some air gunning for these things when we're, I don't know, that the hammer from Umarex USA is supposed to be out any day. As soon as I get a sample in my hand, I'm headed your way. Is that cool?
Yeah, oh yeah.
I think it'll be fun. That hammer shoots a 50 caliber 45 or a 35 caliber bullet, and I mean, and I've killed coyotes on video with air guns and them pre-charged pneumatics. I see right now, and not really trying to change the gear too much, but there's a lot of discussion right now in the chat room about rounds being used for coyotes, and I grabbed a box of Winchester Varmint X because that's what I shoot. So I set it here on my desk. I don't know if you're watching, Hampton, or just listening, but so I want to talk about rounds just a little bit with you because you've seen a lot of coyotes die, and by the way, I do want to thank you for bailing me out on this podcast tonight.
Oh, no problem.
So you filmed me shoot probably 30 or 40 coyotes, I think, right? I think.
I'd have 30.
Yeah, I mean we've shot. Have you only done 2 trips with me?
Mm-hmm. We've hunted
Oklahoma, Oklahoma, 13, and Kansas.
23, 30. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I had it in my head. I kept saying 30 or 40 because
3.5 days basically.
Yeah. So we've killed 30 coyotes in 3.5 days, and you've seen me shoot a lot of coyotes with Winchester. First of all, so I shoot a 22-250 or a 243 for the people listening that don't know. And before I throw this out here, this podcast is brought to you by TacticalPredatorHunter.com for all your Dog Soldier approved gear. And tonight's sponsor just happens to be Winchester Varmint X. And so let's talk about ammo just a little bit, Hampton, because you've seen more coyotes die in 5 years than most of us have in our lifetime. And you filmed me shoot 30 coyotes with Winchester Varmint X, and I've been using the Winchester round my whole outdoor career. I don't know for a fact, but I think I'm their longest outdoor television personality on their roster, I think. As far as shooting their ammo solid, for so long. So I think I almost shot 60 coyotes this year, and I only blew up 3 or 4 that I remembered. It's a pretty healthy round, don't you think? I mean, that bullet works good, I think.
I've only seen one, and that was the second day. We walked in, and that coyote was crossing, and we got down and put the sneak on him. We shot him. And then we went on up and sat down, and you shot that coyote by the pond. That we didn't recover him. That's the only one that failed to recover, and the rest of them have died right there, or they've been in the viewfinder when they went down.
Yeah, I done a lot on the show this year of spin arounds. I'd show them both sides of the coyote, and we shot a lot of coyotes this year and didn't blow up any. But anyway, Varmint X from Winchester, it's a great round. I've been shooting Winchester technology forever. But let's talk about some of the calibers, since we're talking about bullets and everybody's talking about rounds. Let's talk about some of the off the wall stuff that you've been involved in the last few years with ammo and the ammo company. Right now you got an ammo that you're shooting a lot, I've seen, and I can't recall what brand are you shooting right now to your blackout.
It's a guy in Florida named Heath Porter. It's Night Ops.
Okay.
He builds high-end AR rifles. I'm talking about like surgically made, just precision rifles, and he's got right now he's loading 300 blackout, the 6.8 FCC, and the 6.5 Grindel. He is experimenting with some 243 and 22 250 loads. He is very, very meticulous about everything he does. And the bullet that I like, well, actually, there's 3 of them that I like, but I shoot the 110 grain Nosler ballistic tip.
Okay.
it is brutal on coyotes and pigs. I don't care what I don't. Fur friendly is not a term I use. I want to knock a hole the size of a grapefruit in them because I don't like having to go find them.
Yeah.
But he has that, and then the Lehigh 110 grain and 115 grain controlled chaos. All three of those bullets are they're devastating. And,
yep.
you know, they're designed for hogs. And his ammo's loaded a little hotter than most factory ammo. And it shoots real well. And it, like I said, it's a punisher.
I've seen what it does to a pig's head.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I tell you what, it's pretty cool. You know, that's one thing, you know, Hampton, I'm glad you texted me tonight. I was looking for that answer to that question, and you had it for me. And that's one thing I want to do with this podcast. And I think I'm going to have Ryder on here in a couple weeks. I think he might be on. And, you know, I like having you on. That's one thing I want to do with the podcast. I want to have a lot of real coyote hunters on. I want to have some of the industry leaders on. But I really want guys that's producing coyotes and that's willing to help these people. But also, you know, this is the Dog Soldier podcast, but I don't want to throw product down people's face, and I don't want to do this. And I promise you won't find another podcast or anything out there sponsored. I mean, I'm 12 or 13 years strong with Winchester, and we just talked about night ops, and I agree, it's bad shit, you know.
Yeah.
So that's what we're trying to do with the podcast here, and man, thanks for bailing me out tonight, by the way, again.
Yeah, but and another thing though, people got to understand. So many people think the network comes to you and says, "Hey, Steve, we're going to give you $150,000 to have a show on our channel." They don't get it. I mean, no. you buy your airtime, and your sponsors, Winchester. You know, I don't know what your deal with Winchester is. I don't know how big their check is or anybody else's check, but you've got to advertise a quality product that you use and get it out there in front of people. And Winchester's got to be able to justify writing you the check they write you, and your Halo, Flexo, all those people. It's, you know, yeah, sure, people don't like commercials, but they got to understand, without them, the shows aren't on TV.
You know, I there's some things I like to tweak every year with the show, and it's always comes around to commercialism. And, you know, I had a company offer me a pretty good deal this week that I'm probably not going to do because I just can't. Like right now, everything's so fine-tuned, and I know I say flex tone a lot. I had a guy jump on my case last week about saying flex tone every 5 minutes. Well, it's a freaking flex tone I'm killing coyotes with. So I don't know. You know, it's so tough right now to get away from commercialism because you're right. You know, if I invest $150,000 a year to do this, then I got to generate dollars or I'm broke, you know.
Yeah, you know, and that's the thing about it. That flex tone call, I've got one. I've used it over a dozen times. Everybody knows it's not my primary call. It's 180 call and it's kick ass. Call that I use costs $600. You know, yours will do everything it will. Some of the features I'm used to, and they're friendly. We've been in the rain. We've been in the brutal cold. We've been in the heat. Crossing creeks, crossing fences, dropping that call that you've got, I've never seen it have a failure. My call, now, I'm using it for about 4 years. I've had remote issues, I've had speaker issues, but I pound the crap out of stuff.
Yeah.
And there's going to be, you know, if they built 100 of those calls today, there's going to be a couple of them that quit playing in the middle, and it sucks. The 2 times that my remote has quit, I've been with Tim out of town, out of state, hunting and stranded with no freaking remote.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm grounded. You know, they might as well just cut my head off. It happens. You know, send it back, get it fixed, and keep rolling with it.
You know, that's one thing. I mean, I just want a good call, and I got lucky and helped develop a good one for the price point. It don't have a lot of bells and whistles, and you know, it's really tough. I mean, I've killed coyotes over your call, and everybody knows what you use. I ain't going to say it because that company absolutely, they will not be on my podcast at all because they don't want to, I don't know. Anyway, black tape, but I've used your call before and I've killed coyotes with it, and we work good together. You know what really aggravates the hell out of me? We talk about bumping calls, and what I mean by bumping is I'm driving off with them on the bed of the truck, or it falling out. You've seen my flex tone fall out of trees before. You know, we tear them up, and we're so hard on them when we hunt, like you and I hunt. I didn't watch it, but I heard the other night on a live feed on Facebook. The kid said that he was having so much trouble with the flex tone, he switched to a different brand. But up until a certain point of his Facebook career, every video he's got that he produces is with a flex tone. But it's just, so now I'm trying to figure it out. I don't want my business run like that. You get what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, the thing about your call, there's been one time where there was a failure. You set it out there and went back and hit the remote and it wouldn't come on. It failed because you didn't turn it on. So that's not the call's fault. It has worked flawlessly. I've not seen a hiccup with it.
Now,
and I would, if it had, I'd say, yeah, there were those couple of times, but it hadn't. I've not seen that call have a failure in all the stands we've made.
We do have to admit, though, I take the Flextone FLX 500 and beat it upside down before I turn it on. We do have to admit that. You've seen me do that, right?
I'm probably trying to get my camera set up and find that little tiny viewfinder because you and Jackson are too tight to buy a monitor.
So I'm using the first Flextone FLX 500, Dog Soldier FLX 500 they sent me like 3.5 years ago. And every coyote I've killed with you has been the same call. And I have to beat it upside down because I did something's loose in the remote. And instead of sending it back in and doing anything different, I took that call to Canada. I told you that, right? Did I tell you? So I go up to Canada, and it was negative. It was negative anywhere from 28 to like 38 or 22 to 38. And I set that call out one morning, and I howled with it. And I let the auto shut off, and it sat out there for 12 hours in way more than negative 25 degrees. And I walked out to it at dark to see if I could get some wolves to howl back at me, and I turned that damn thing on, and it worked. Can you believe that? I mean, that is... I just...
Hey, like I said, I've never seen the call have a failure. I know that when we were out there in Western Oklahoma, it wasn't below zero, but it was damn sure cold.
Oh, man. Yeah, I tell you what, it's a great call, but I don't want to turn this into a call. My call is, it's a great call for the money. You can go to tacticalpredatorhunter.com and for $180 get probably one of the best damn calls on the market. One of the best. I didn't say the best. I don't know if it's the best or not. I don't even know if anybody really has the best anymore. Is that even possible, Hampton, in your opinion?
Hey, I'm gonna tell you right now, in the $180 price range, it's 3 times the call of any other out there. Because I've used the other ones, and there's no comparison.
I don't know.
Plain and simple.
I like plain and simple. I like that term. So, do you think it's possible for anybody to have the best anymore? Like,
it's kind of like dogs. And, if you've got a dog that is doing what you want it to do, and it doesn't do a damn thing that I want it to do, as long as you're happy with it, it's the best. Yeah, so I guess it's in the eye of the beholder.
One thing that I like to do on our show is I don't say the best. Like for the Winchester ammo, we talked about my experiences, and we talk about the experiences of the Flextone, and we talk about, the experience and the products I use, but I never say the best because I don't want to garhole myself. I used to work for a company that demanded that out of me, and I hated it, and I don't want to garhole myself. Just kind of like scent elimination. I use Scent Killer Gold because I don't like washing my clothes in regular detergents and fading my camo, and I do like cutting down the regular clothes smell. But I'm not a dumbass. I can't fool a coyote's nose. We all know that. And me being honest, they love it that I'm honest like that, because I mean, there's places in the industry, or places in the hunters, repertoire for products that is pawned off so awfully by other personalities that when somebody finally tells the truth, they shine, and that's kind of what we're trying to do. I don't know. We could talk all night long for 24 hours about this, because me and you spent 24 hours talking about stuff like this.
Yeah, that's the thing about it. That soap, and that's good soap. If you're funky, it knocks the stink off of you.
Yep.
I mean, it's not going to, a coyote's still going to smell you, but as far as smelling yourself, you can take a bath with that, and it damn sure does a good job.
Well, and I will tell you this, and this will be in closing. We'll wrap it up here in a second, but Rich Higgins has video making stands, and he's put cameras where he was setting and left the camera, and he's got video of coyotes minutes after he left coming drop and putting a dropping right where he was setting, making that stand.
Mm-hmm.
And he's also got video of coyotes where he's set up in a bush. He in the bushes, he was real big. He's a big net guy, ghillie suit. He hides really well, because me and him's tried to noodle coyotes before. But anyway, these dove hunters in Arizona, they'd kill all these doves, and he's got video before and they'd clean them all right there in these little dove lots out in the desert. And when the last truck was driving out, he has video of a coyote coming in. So what that and in the World Championships, and this will be in closing, in the World Championships in 2010, me and Clay Owens, we walked to the truck, and the wind's blowing over our back, and there's a coyote downwind on the other side of the road just screaming his balls off at us. And I sat in the road ditch, and I said, give me 5 minutes. And at minute 3, I killed this coyote, and I know he had a head full of Steve Kreiner. I mean, he smelt me. He probably seen me. But he's seen that truck drive off. So what that tells me, and this is my theory, coyotes can think you're there, but you're far enough away that you might not hurt them, or they might think you're already gone. That's where I believe in not smelling. I know the coyote's going to smell me, but depending on pressure levels, I think a coyote will react different sometimes, depending on pressure levels. Because if you catch a coyote the first night you set a trap, he smells you. But he knows you're gone. Or you're far enough away, he ain't going to hurt you, so he's going to go ahead and work the set and get his foot caught. These coyotes are so dynamic. Now, they can't think, because they're not human beings and they're animals, but they can associate. And depending on pressure levels, I think they can take a certain amount of human scent. And I don't know if it was you with me or not, and we was making fun of the Scent Killer Gold wipes, and I said, we're going to do the gasoline test, and I got gas on my hands, and I wiped my hands, and it was gone to the human nose. Yeah. So anyway, that's my soapbox about, I get a lot of crap about Scent Elimination, because they've been a big sponsor, and they've been my sponsor for 4 years now, and they're going to be my sponsor again. And I use this stuff. But, I'll look somebody right in the eye and say, yeah, I can't hide from a coyote. There ain't no way in hell. But I might be able to alter a reaction. And if I've done my work right, hopefully I ain't hunting pressured coyotes,
Well, those are becoming few and far between.
Boy, ain't it? It's coyotes. I thought the industry, whether it be Facebook, social media, YouTube, you wouldn't believe how many emails I get a week. People not even... There's people on the chat tonight that said, one guy, his name was Tony, I believe. It might have been Tony. He said, I just started coyote hunting. I love your videos. I just found your videos. There's so many people that... I've been on TV for 12 years, and there's so many people in the world that don't know. I'm nobody. I'm just a guy that has fun shooting coyotes and has been fortunate enough to make it. But, excuse me. But I will tell you one thing. Social media platforms... Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook has made it so easy. I've been getting messages all night of these guys going live, and I was going live on Thursday nights, and then um that Alpha Dog Down, he decided he wanted to go live on Thursday nights. So I changed it to Wednesday night because it is easier to go live on Facebook and watch than going through all this bullshit to get to YouTube. So now I'm on Wednesday night, and there's been 4 or 5 live videos during this podcast. So I'm trying to do this where everybody can enjoy it, because I think we have things to offer. I think, and maybe I'm seeing it wrong. I don't know. Maybe these podcasts ain't the good deal. I don't know. What do you think, Hampton?
Yeah, I think they're a good deal. I wouldn't sweat what everybody else does. I try to get along with everyone. I'm not gonna bash anybody. Some people do things that I'm just like, whatever. I just kind of roll and do my thing. There's plenty of people that probably think that I do stuff that they don't like. But if I'm doing something you don't like, delete me or don't follow me or don't watch my stuff.
Yeah.
So I think they're cool.
I think what I'm gonna do is maybe I'm gonna examine this a little bit this week. I may switch over to, I don't know, everybody listening and watching at home. I may be switching over days again. I need to find a day that people ain't so active on Facebook, and because I think between you and if we can get Ryder on, and I've talked to Tim Wells, he's going to be on, and Cooley, we were going to visit with Cooley for a little while, and he had that storm blow in, but we got a lot of stuff going on, and I don't know. I'm not using this to sell calls or anything. I think it's a fun deal to do, and I think a lot of people are going to get to talk to a lot of cool people that know how to kill coyotes, and I want to share it with everybody. The last few months, I will admit, I've got sidetracked a little bit and let some things bother me that I shouldn't have, and them days are over. The old Steve Kreiner's back. What is it? I don't know if my partner Bill Jackson's watching, but F them and feed them fish heads. That's our saying. I can't worry about everybody else. So I want to have a platform where I can have people like you on, and other people in the outdoor industry. And we had Bees on last week, and that was a great podcast. And this is another great podcast. And I had you on the first podcast, so you getting more FaceTime than I am, I think. But I'll just have you on every week, Hampton. I'll just sit back here and just drink coffee and do my thing. I don't know. But we were gonna talk about decoy dogging tonight, and actually I was gonna talk about how I handle this time of year when I'm calling coyotes, which is usually spring calving pastures, and stuff working problems. I really don't get too into it because I'm starting to think bear hunting and stuff like that. But I'm glad you text me because you bailed me out, because now we got a good podcast laid down. A lot of people learn a lot of stuff about decoy dogging, and we had a lot of fun, and I appreciate you being on. For real.
No problem.
All right, brother. Well, I'm going to let you go, and I will talk to you soon.
All right. I'll see you.
All right, man. Be good. Bye. Well, everybody, that was Scott Hampton from Oklahoma, one of my good buddies. He's worked for me before, but aside from him filming for me, we're good buddies, and it's always good to have Hampton on, and he is a decoy dogging son of a gun. So if you guys like the podcast, don't forget, spread the word. This is going straight to the YouTube channel. I'll cut out that stupid 2 or 3 minute where everybody was waiting and I wasn't doing nothing. But anyway, we'll cut out all that stuff. It'll go straight to the YouTube channel. Remember, tacticalpredatorhunter.com for all your dog soldier gear. Man, what an episode. I love it. I love it. I love it. We had Hampton on, and obviously it was Hampton knows what he's talking about. So it's always good when we have good information. It's always good when we talk about killing coyotes. And I will catch you guys next week. Be looking at the Facebook fan page for times on the live podcast next week. I may be switching it around, or I may just go ahead and settle in, because this is going to iTunes, and a lot of people will listen to it, and a lot of people will watch it on iTunes. But don't forget, spread the word, like it, do whatever you can. That's how we get rated. That's how we get on top of the list. And if you are on iTunes or on an iTunes platform device, your iPod or your podcast app, it's under The Dog Soldier. Just simply search it, subscribe, and rate us. We're a top 10 podcast right now for hunting, and we've only had 4 or 5 episodes uploaded, so people are liking it. Peace out, homies. I'll catch you guys next week. It's always fun visiting with you guys, and it's always fun doing this. And, man, we're just going to keep on rolling, and we're going to keep on killing coyotes together. Peace out.